Well, it's a Monday. Oh, I just saw two people run by the front window. Something about just seeing people right now is appreciated. I hope that you guys are well. And obviously we are in very unusual times. And I really tried to think about what was on my heart that would be the most helpful to you. And as I said before, the cool things about these Monday podcasts is that it also encourages me. And I've said many times I love the verse that David encouraged himself, because we have to, now more than ever, encourage ourselves. This too shall pass. I've been through hard times in my life, as I'm sure that you have. We have experienced hard times. I've experienced times where I could barely catch my breath thinking about financial worries, worries about our children, just things, part of this fallen world that we live in. And through the years, I've always been somebody who naturally kind of gravitates towards looking for the good. Maybe that's why scouting, maybe that ding, I feel like I have a light bulb on top of my head right now. Looking for the beauty, looking for the good, finding it. I'm a person who, if you listen to this at all, you know that I'm a TV watcher. There's shows that I love. I love American Idol again. I'll say it again. Last night we watched it. It was so good. But the reality is that you can come out of this better and stronger. And that's what I'm believing for us. That's what I'm believing for you. That's what I'm believing for our family, for our models, for this community, and for this country, and for the entire world. You know, social media, you have to take in little doses at this point, but then there's also these moments that are just absolutely beautiful to me. Our friend shared in Brazil at night, the whole city basically singing and praising God through it. And that's where our power can be, is being thankful, praying and trusting for other people, so that the least amount of damage can happen. And hey, I unapologetically will always believe that miracles can happen, and this is a time that is no different. I've had lots of prayer time and journaling time, and it does make a difference. And I found it's been really cool too. Like I now do this thing every morning that an amazing woman, Alex Seeley, does. It's a live devotion. And for me, it really helps to frame the day. It really does. And I'm appreciative for that. One of the reasons why I started to do this podcast on Monday is because Mondays have always been kind of a weird day for me. I hate to just say that, because then I feel like sometimes what you say, you confess, and then you start to believe that, Mondays aren't your favorite day. But, through the years, I kind of found that. And there was a period back when our business was structured differently. We made the decision to be closed on Monday. And I felt like it really helped me set the frame. It gave me a downtime. And in our new life here, especially in the way that we've structured our live work, to me, taking the time to do this on Mondays has really helped. So sometimes the things that we like the least or the biggest challenge, if you look at it differently or try to figure out how to navigate around it and turn it into a positive, it can actually become a positive. This is a season of unknowing, and I think through the 2 decades of Jeff and I together, we've had lots of seasons of unknowing in our business and in different scenarios. So I feel like, I don't want to say we've adjusted to that kind of life a bit, but it doesn't rock me to my core. Now, I'm going to say that this week I had some moments that I was rocked to my core when I let the situation and the circumstance get ahead of me being proactive in going, I choose this. I choose to live this day this way. I had to figure out for me how much news I can consume and how much I can't. And I would recommend the same for you. I could tell a giant difference when I learned in small doses how to consume that enough that I'm informed, but beyond that to then plug into masterclass, read. We've been getting really creative about how can we continue to do what we're doing, but also use this as a way to figure out new ways that can be even better. And if you haven't started to do that in whatever your circumstances, try it. Allow yourself. My new masterclass that I'm watching is Mark Jacobs, and I just watched him talk about how his creative process and how he allows himself to just start, but in the very beginning he doesn't really know what it is, and then through the process it kind of unfolds. And that is something that we can all apply to where we're at right now. Allow yourself to start thinking about what can be after this, or what good things can come out of it, or what idea have you had on the back burner that, hey, you have the time to think through it a little bit more. One of the times in my life that was the most unearthing, and I've shared about it, I think on this podcast before, was in 1997. It was the time where I was in the process of getting a divorce, thinking that I had to quit this business. I had no money. Reality was very dark and very looming, and it was around this time of year. It was a time where I prayed to God like I'd never prayed before, and I was broken. The most broken I had ever been. Up until a few years ago, I went through kind of a broken sadness, just within family, but that's been restored, thankfully. But in that time, I'd come to the end of myself. I found out that that's what it was through Bruce, who I went to for an entire year through therapy and counseling, and it made a giant difference. And as hard as it was, hindsight being 2020, it was the most transformative, good reset for myself. You learn in these seasons to not fully rely on what it is and what you think it should be, and you release, you surrender. I've been spending a lot of time in our room upstairs that is Willa's room when she's here. It's our guest room. It's this bright space full of color, and I've been spending time in there because it's good for my soul. And I'm looking out the window and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot we have a white flag outside of our building. And I've always loved that we have a white flag because that's a sign of surrender, to trusting in these moments that seem uncertain that it's going to work out and good will come from it. One of the concepts that I think is important is the concept of guarding your heart. When you guard your heart and you take care of that soul part of you, that spirit part, you can find peace in the midst of chaos. And I've had experiences where literally a wash of peace have gone. I felt the wash of peace, and then moving forward, I could handle the uncertainty of what was ahead of me. And it's a real tangible thing that can come in times like this. The other thing is, as silly as this may sound, a couple of weeks ago, I don't even know why, Jeff and I had not watched America's Funniest Home Videos since our kids were little. It just was not something that we did. And the medicine of laughter is the most beautiful medicine. For me, I'm very open about my faith. One of my favorite verses is, "The joy of the Lord is my strength." Joy, laughter is healing. It's therapeutic. It reminds you that brighter days are ahead, and there's a lot to be thankful for in today. And I'm sure you have seen people sharing things that just make you laugh, and the power of that is so immeasurable. So we've now gotten in the habit of watching America's Funniest Home Videos and Billy on the Street, which is so hilarious. And last night, after kind of the day, you know, of the two of us, and, you know, I'm sure too, maybe your emotions can kind of ebb and flow, although we're being proactive about that. Just sitting and watching that as we were making dinner, or I was making dinner. It's okay, honey. I'm sure he was doing something equally important. I was making dinner, and I don't know how to describe it. It just was a reminder of normalcy. I heard somebody talk today about how in the normal life, you're sitting around waiting for something exciting to happen. In the normalcy of going to work, going to school, what life generally looks like. And in today's moment, what you would value more than anything is normalcy, is what would it feel like to go, I'm gonna run to the store, or let's do this, or let's meet friends later. But by the same token, I'm thankful that we're having the wisdom to stop and stay home, do what's right. How miserable can we be when we have technology and so many things at our fingertips? We should not be miserable. I wake up in the morning, and just before we started to do this, we fill our spirit with music that we love, that lifts your spirit, it fills you, Hillsong, Elevation. A couple nights ago, we haven't had sun. Today's another day that there's not sun. But 2 nights ago, I think it was, the sun was starting to set. In St. Louis, the sky had turned pink. My favorite sunsets are those pinky kind of sunsets. And I came into our room, and I glanced out the window, and literally, I was like, Papa, there's a rainbow, come see. And he was like, what? And I'm like, come in the bedroom. And he came in, and we're standing there, we're looking at this rainbow, and as simple as it may sound, it was so symbolic that that the future is bright and wonderful things are still in store, and you're going to get through this and connect with people and talk to people in whatever connection way you can, because it's important that we have each other's back right now. And I just want you to know we appreciate you guys, and we're going to do more, like I said last week, to really share with you and keep us all connected and keep us all inspired. And I hope that you guard your heart, fill it with good things, decide that you're not going to let this unravel in your brain. seek some peace. You can find it. Take a deep breath. And we'll be sharing a lot more this week. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. And I will officially talk to you next Monday, but we'll be talking in between then. Have a great day.